It will be interesting to see how Indian diplomats take forward the civil nuclear initiative while maintaining the sanctity of Indian laws. Let us turn our attention now to trade and economic ties between the two countries. Dr. Singh is visiting America at a time when globally economies are on shaky ground. The Indian currency has been displaying high volatility against the US dollar and has witnessed substantial depreciation. But the sunny side of the story, though, is that the US Federal Reserve has decided not to withdraw its economic stimulus for the moment. Its $85 billion a month bond buying program will continue.
Business and economic ties between India and the United States have steadily grown over the years. America is India's largest trading partner, with composite trade between the two countries standing at $100 billion a year. India is now looking at America as a major investor in India's economic growth plans. In fact, just 2 months back in July, a high-level delegation led by Finance Minister P. Chidambaram and Commerce Minister Anand Sharma had visited America to woo American investors. American investors continue to have reservations about what they claim are investment-related barriers that still exist and have been raising concerns related to protection of intellectual property, limits for local content, caps on foreign direct investment, inconsistent tax treatment, and barriers in market access.
I think that they will go slowly forward always. It has always been the case that Republican administrations somehow do more good for India than Democratic ones, although as a people our intellectuals like the Democratic Party much more. They're liberal, etc. So there will be times when it will go slower and times when it will go faster. During the Bush days it really went very fast for lots of reasons. Now it's not going that fast, but it's always positive. Nothing negative has happened. And if these reactor deals and a few other things are done, then I think it will definitely.
India will try and address all these apprehensions and more during the Prime Minister's visit, and will try to convince American industry leaders about the recent changes in FDI norms in India, which allow 100% direct investment in the telecom sector, 26% on a case-to-case basis in the defense sector, with a provision for 49% FDI through the automatic route. India will also highlight the easing out of conditions for 30% local sourcing for FDI in multi-brand retail. Dr. Singh's team will also seek to reiterate that India's intellectual property rights are consistent with international law and are TRIPS compliant. India has underscored that the revived national manufacturing policy of India provides immense commercial and investment opportunities for US business houses.
Liberalization of the FDI regime has already begun to bear results, with FDI in the April to June quarter growing to $9 billion compared to $5 billion in the same period last year. But let's move now on. America's new immigration policies have become a major irritant in the trade ties between the two countries. Let us take a look at what is new in America's immigration policy and how it will affect Indian companies operating in the US.
The Border Security, Economic Opportunity and Immigration Modernization Bill, passed by the American Senate in June, seeks to curb the use of skilled worker visas by many companies to send relatively inexpensive foreign employees to the United States. Now, while much of the debate among American lawmakers regarding the bill is concentrated on a provision that would provide a path to citizenship for illegal immigrants currently living in the US, Indian firms have raised concerns about clauses in the bill that relate to non-immigrant visas. For example, the bill bans outplacement of H-1B visa holders if they form more than 15% of a firm's workforce in the United States. It also limits the proportion of H-1B and L-1 visa workers relative to a firm's total US employees to 50% by financial year 2017. by FY17. Indian IT firms send a large number of their employees to the United States to work at client locations on temporary work visas, the H-1B or L-1 visas. If the bill is passed in its current form, Indian firms will be forced to cut down on sending their employees from India. Indian companies complain that the bill targets their business models and in turn helps their US-based rivals. Infosys, Tata and Wipro are among the top Indian companies using the H-1B visas to send their professionals to America. India's argument is that the movement of highly trained professionals in the IT industry should not be clubbed with that of immigrants.
Well, the US is a very major and very important trade partner for India and a very important investment partner for India. Both ways, Indian companies invest in the US and US companies invest in India. So I'm sure that there will be a further strengthening of this relationship. And Indian industry looks forward to that because we have a very strong industrial relationship with the US, business relationship with the US, and that will continue. The matter of issue of visas which you've raised, it has been flagged at all levels that some of it can impact the whole Indian, particularly the IT industry, which needs to send people out. And the important message that needs to be conveyed again and again and again is that every one outsourced job created in India actually creates and supports 4 jobs overseas. So I don't see why it would be in anybody's interest to try and reduce such jobs because it only helps their own economy.
If the bill is passed, Indian IT firms will have to employ more US residents, which will increase their spending on wages and benefits. Indian IT majors also point out that an increase in American employees will also reduce their flexibility in managing on-site employee utilization. The bill poses other challenges too. Indian firms will have to pay more by way of visa fees and also pay higher salaries to H-1B visa holders. The bill is currently under examination by the US House of Representatives, which wants to consider immigration reform through a series of smaller bills. New Delhi and Washington will also engage deeply in the fields of defense cooperation, working towards a defense technology initiative. India wants the relationship to graduate from America being a defense supplier to becoming a partner in designing, development and production of high-end defense technology. This includes stealth technology, aircraft engines, helicopters, fuel-efficient missile engines and precision technology.
There are certain, I would say, elements that would provide the continuity, which is that we had the improvement in the India-US relationship going back to July 2005, the Civilian Nuclear Cooperation Agreement. That was, in a way, realized in 2008. I think on trade, on technology, and to a certain extent on the defense and security relationship, I am hopeful again that there is a lot of potential. Even if you go back to, I would say, the current trade, economic, technology dimension, which I think is very, very critical and significant for India's own growth. And concurrently what is referred to as the Mukherjee-Rumsfeld Agreement of June 2005, which relates to the defense and security cooperation. There are a number of areas where India can benefit from engaging with the United States.
Well, for India it's very, very important because we are short of energy and we would like to get energy from all sources, including nuclear. And in nuclear we were having problems because there was a worldwide sanction against us. And the nuclear deal lifted that sanction. That allows us to get uranium from outside. We didn't have enough. It allows us also to get into contracts with foreign reactor building companies, which can come and build reactors here, and therefore the whole growth will be much faster. So therefore it's very, very important for India's energy, and energy is important for growth.
Cooperation in counter-terrorism will also be a major focus of this visit, and regional security issues, particularly with the scheduled drawdown of US troops from Afghanistan next year, will also be discussed. India has made huge investments in the infrastructure development in Afghanistan and would like a greater role in the post-US troop withdrawal scenario.
There is a very high probability that when the United States and the ISAF troops finally leave Afghanistan, that there would be a lot of internal turbulence, and much of it generated by the various factions and those who have now taken the path of violence, what is very broadly referred to as the Taliban and its various support groups. For India, I think there is a lot of deep-seated anxiety that these ideological forces and their recourse to violence, we have seen this in the past, could have an adverse impact on India, particularly in the state of Jammu and Kashmir. So to that extent, I think for India, the post-2014 scenario is one that has the potential for various possibilities, and therefore India is very, very concerned.